Doctor, is Monk Fruit Sweetener a good choice for people with diabetes? It is made from monk fruit. Therefore, it is natural. It has no calories, so it must be a good choice for people with diabetes, right? Hi, I'm Dr. Chan. In this episode of Questioning the Assumptions, we are going to tackle the widely held assumption that monk fruit sweeteners, being a natural, zero-calorie, non-nutritive sweetener, must be a good choice for people who are concerned about blood sugar control, especially people with diabetes. If you are interested, watch on. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Chan. I'm a medical doctor from Singapore. My YouTube channel is about changing mindsets, tackling misconceptions on topics related to lifestyle and health, so as to activate people to unlock the tremendous power of lifestyle and eating habits in combating diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other lifestyle-related chronic diseases. Let's jump straight into this episode of Questioning the Assumptions. Let's start with the facts. This is monk fruit or 罗汉果, and this is monk fruit sweetener made from the extracts of this fruit. Monk fruit sweeteners get its intense sweetness not from sugars but from mongrosides, compounds found in monk fruits. Monk fruit sweeteners are classified as natural, non-nutritive, that is zero-calorie sweeteners. The assumption that we are questioning today is monk fruit sweeteners, being natural and zero-calorie, must be a good choice as a sugar substitute for people with diabetes. What do you think of this assumption? Do you agree with it? Or do you have some doubts, question marks about this assumption? Most people would assume that monk fruit sweeteners used in place of table sugar in food and beverages should have minimal impact on post-meal blood glucose and hence help people with diabetes achieve better blood glucose control overall. I was interested to dive a bit deeper into what science is currently saying about monk fruit sweeteners because I am often asked by people, including my patients with diabetes, whether using monk fruit sweetener is a good choice as a sugar substitute to help them achieve better blood glucose control. And I found that the answer is actually not as straightforward as it seems. And there were a number of interesting studies that threw up some question marks on this widely held assumption that monk fruit sweetener, being a natural non-nutritive sweetener, must therefore be good for blood glucose control, especially when compared with table sugar. For example, I found this randomized crossover study done by a group of scientists in Singapore a few years ago, who found that taking a monk fruit sweetener sweetened drink with lunch did not translate to a lower average blood glucose over a 3-hour period during that meal, as compared to having the same lunch with a sweetened beverage containing 65 grams of table sugar. Surprising, isn't it? Most of us would expect and assume that having a drink sweetened with monk fruit sweetener instead of 65 grams, which is about 16 teaspoons of table sugar with lunch, must definitely translate to a lower average blood glucose. But that was not what they found. Let me use a simple graphic representation of the study that I have done up to help you better understand what this group of scientists did and found in their study. They invited 30 healthy men to participate in the study. The participants will be given a sweetened drink an hour before lunch. The drink would either be sweetened by table sugar or monk fruit sweetener. And an hour after that, they would be given a lunch consisting of fried rice. During this whole period and up to 2 hours after their lunch, the blood glucose of the participants would be closely monitored and recorded. So, on test day 1, participants were given a drink sweetened with 65 grams of table sugar, equivalent to about 16 teaspoons of sugar. They had their blood glucose monitored and recorded over the next hour. An hour after that, they were served a fried rice lunch and had their blood glucose monitored and recorded for 2 hours after lunch. Then they left the test center. On another day, they would return to the test center for the same test. But this time, the drink would be sweetened by monk fruit sweetener instead of table sugar. Again, they would be served a fried rice lunch an hour after their monk fruit sweetener sweetened drink and had their blood glucose closely monitored and recorded during this whole 3-hour process. Then they compared the blood glucose profiles of the participants for the 2 different days, and they found no significant difference for the total area under curve of the glucose profiles of the participants during the entire 3-hour period between the two different test days, whether the pre-lunch drink was sugar sweetened or sweetened by monk fruit sweetener. Surprising, isn't it? But this was what they found. In the first hour, after drinking the sweetened drink, the blood glucose profiles of the participants spiked as expected after taking the table sugar sweetened drink, whilst there was again as expected no blood glucose spikes after taking the monk fruit sweetener sweetened drink. But see what happened to the blood glucose of the participants after they ate the fried rice lunch. Something unexpected and interesting happened to the post-lunch blood glucose profiles of the participants. The blood glucose profiles of the participants after the lunch of fried rice spiked higher on days that they took the monk fruit sweetener sweetened drink as compared to the days when the pre-lunch drink was a drink sweetened with 65 grams of normal table sugar. For reasons and mechanisms not explained or entirely clear, taking the monk fruit sweetener sweetened drink somehow exaggerated the blood glucose spike of the fried rice lunch taken an hour later as compared to the blood glucose spike of the same fried rice lunch after taking the table sugar sweetened drink. No hypothesis was offered to explain why this happened, because that was not the objective of the study. This same group of scientists also did another similar study, but this time they monitored the blood glucose profiles of study participants over 24 hours, and again they got the same results. I shall put the links to these two studies and other similar studies in the description section below. My intention for sharing these studies is not about arguing for or proving anything, because we cannot take the findings of just a single study designed in a specific way to prove anything conclusively. So we cannot say conclusively whether monk fruit sweetener is a good choice or not as a sugar substitute for people with diabetes from these studies alone. But I wanted to use these studies to highlight the importance of always questioning assumptions, however widely held, especially assumptions related to lifestyle and food choices that have the potential to significantly impact our long-term health. So coming back to the assumption that we are questioning in this video, which is whether monk fruit sweeteners, being natural and with 0 calorie, is a good choice as a sugar substitute for people with diabetes. In my opinion, my answer would be it is not 100% clear that using monk fruit sweeteners as a sugar substitute for people with diabetes would definitely result in overall better blood glucose control and better health outcomes long term. Because although monk fruit sweeteners are natural, 0-calorie sweeteners made from extracts of monk fruits or 罗汉果, and monk fruit as a minimally or unprocessed whole fruit has been used as a natural sweetener and traditional medicinal product for centuries in China and many parts of Asia, there are still enough reasonable question marks or unknowns over the indirect and long-term impact of regular and frequent use of the highly processed monk fruit sweetener as a sugar substitute, especially for people with diabetes who want to achieve better overall blood glucose control. But don't get me wrong, I am definitely not against the occasional use of non-nutritive sweeteners, whether artificial or natural, including monk fruit sweeteners as sugar substitutes in beverages, food, or even baking. In fact, I do enjoy drinking 罗汉果凉茶, a traditional drink brewed from monk fruit that is very popular amongst us Chinese. But yet, I would not say that it is 100% clear that monk fruit sweeteners are definitely, without doubt, a good choice as a sugar substitute for people who want to achieve better overall blood glucose control, especially people with diabetes. The only thing that I can be 100% confident of that is definitely good for everybody in terms of better blood glucose control and for better health in general, including and especially for people with diabetes, would be to learn to jumpstart, adapt to, and eventually even enjoy a dietary habit, a eating pattern that has little or minimal need for any kind of added sweeteners, whether normal table sugar or sugar substitutes of any kind, including natural non-nutritive sweeteners like monk fruit sweeteners. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Questioning the Assumptions and found it useful. I am Dr. Chan. Thank you for watching.